The year had a lot of good shows and some real stinkers, but a lot of bad shows or shows that just aren't my cup of tea, I just don't finish. And I think that's pretty normal. But, oh my god, this show Astro Note, not only did I somehow finish it, but it was definitely the worst show of 2024 that I watched. But that's a strong statement. What's the bar? So, let me tell you about my personal preference. I love slice of life, romance, and comedy shows. Action's great, but it doesn't get you a lot of bonus points. Nor will over-the-top, flashy animation. Just because it's pretty, but doesn't have any substance, doesn't mean it will keep me interested for very long. A good show, for me, needs the following. 1, strong character narratives. That doesn't mean I need to like those characters, but I do want to enjoy learning about them, the depth of the characters. I despise one-dimensional characters that don't grow or learn from past mistakes and events, or even the success and how it all happened. I want to see growth. 2, compelling writing. A narrative that has a solid beat by beat, similar to Mayoka Punch, doesn't need to be the front and center. A lot of high school shows are rarely more than about growing and learning from one another, and not the main character getting a girlfriend or becoming the high school team captain, nor is that rarely ever the core focus of those shows. Rather, it's about those characters and the goings on in each episode, and the underlying plot that is the hook to keep you to watch the show and connect those characters. You want to see how they'll keep going. Frankly, you can boil this whole point down to, I just want to feel something, ideally outside of frustration towards the show. Number 3. Not amazing, but solid animation and sound design. If a show wants to go the extra mile and have beauty shots all the time, hey, I'm here for it. I've even joked for some animation about watching romance shows that feel like they're slideshows. So this isn't something that's going to get you a lot of points from me, but it will absolutely keep you out of the bottom tier. So let me introduce you to Astro Note. Before I go any further, if you like this show, that's awesome. This video isn't for you unless you hate watching things you love. Which, now that I've said it, covers a lot of videos on this website, but that's not the point. And hey, thanks for watching. Astro Note breaks down 2 of my 3 rules. To me, that doesn't have a compelling narrative, nor does it have strong character narratives. So let's talk about the good first. It has clearly defined and well-animated characters. Each have unique qualities, color design, and iconography, which means even in establishing shots, it's still clear who is who, even in the odd occasion that they're wearing different clothes. This also extends to the character expression and movement. Things feel fluid. And while they do sometimes go for the over-the-top trope of facial expression, it is a comedy show. Rarely is it overdone though. And still, it just looks good. The animation is also done so well. It had hard work put into it. The backgrounds are clear and sometimes while reused, it's never repetitive. And it's always slightly different angles. It really makes you feel like you're learning more about the lodge in which the show predominantly takes place in. It has highly stylized moments, and in general, while not breathtaking, it is enjoyable to watch. And there's a lot that will dock points off for the show, but animation is not on it. The music, sound, and voice acting is all solid. I'm no expert in this field, but as a casual viewer, it directly wasn't taking me out of the experience. Nothing felt weirdly mixed. Everything was very coherent, and in the spots where you had explosions or robotic or futuristic technology, everything sounded like it fit. There wasn't much where I questioned what I was hearing. So let's get into the real issues I had, but before, I'll do a very quick synopsis. Takami, a gifted chef, was just let go from his job. He lands a gig in an old boarding house called Astro Lodge, but he is hesitant to accept after learning that he must live there full time. That is until he meets the beautiful and charming caretaker, Maria, and he is sold. The two begin to work together and their connection deepens. But Maria has a secret. She's not from this world. So let's get into my real issues with this show. The first one is Takami and Maria are lame. God, they're so lame. Honestly, it was just so tiring seeing this slowly on again, off again, on again relationship, and how it just felt like such a car in rush hour. With this being an original show, not based on anything, my hypothesis is that they planned at one point for Maria to be a foreigner who just found herself living at Astro Lodge. But at some point they switched it to her being an alien, as outside of random attacks by aliens, and the wild ending that makes not a lot of sense outside of teehee crazy ending XD, there's almost no reason for her to be an alien. The fact is, it is made very, very clear that she will have to leave to do her royal duties. Oh yeah, she's a royal because of course she is, and additional reasons for her to go back. Which, to pull a band-aid off, she doesn't. Takami isn't immune to this. He seemingly forgets another character who he's just happened to meet called Aoi, who he happened to work with in the past. And within this remembering episode, he had several moments with her. Then, at the very end of said episode, he goes, "Oh yeah, I remember you." But the whole episode made me far more sympathetic towards Aoi, to the point that both my partner and I wished this whole show was actually made about her struggles of dealing with homelessness, hunger, and a purpose in life. Takami is frankly an unlikable dude. He doesn't seemingly have any redeemable qualities and came off as creepy, whiny, and weirdly possessive of Maria, to even stalkerish tendencies. But it's all brushed off as, oh, that's just him trying to get the girl. It's normal to be depressed about a girl who you like. Whereas Maria, everything is seemingly new, amazing, and is so positive about her life on Earth, and that she wants to give up on the reason for even coming to Earth and for Astro Lodge to find the key, so to help save her home planet. She routinely puts it off, and I get it to a sense. Hey, the show is all about the characters and the lodge itself, but you've got one job. It's so irritating that she doesn't want to do it, and her bodyguards seemingly forcing her to not only do her one job for most of the part, which is just looking. Which is funny, because when he actually confronts her on this, it gets brushed off by a knock on the door for more plot, which forces her and Takami to get even closer, when in reality, he was weirdly creeping on her and at her door, and then kind of forced his way in, and she didn't even care to stop him. Frankly, this can be boiled down to a ditzy, short attention span alien who just is more interested in exploring the place that she's been at for a while, rather than actually doing her one job, and a creepy dude who's trying to get into a romantic relationship with said alien who's told him very early on that she'll be leaving, so pursuing her romantically is a fool's errand. Obviously, they get together at the end, and she doesn't leave, and she continues to be the caretaker, and he keeps being the cook, and they all live happily ever after. This story is so lame. I just can't care for their story, which at the end of the day is this show's core story, the two of them getting together. This means a lot of points of this show sucked for me. It never felt like there was a lot of depth to their relationship, nor did it seem like there was a reason for their bond to grow deeper. We, the audience, got shown a date and some moments, and because of that, they seemingly were close and grew to love one another. But as a long-time romance anime enjoyer, no, it didn't have any depth. It had the depth of a school days. Yeah, I like you. I like you too. We are in love! Ugh. So the core antagonist is an alien race that Maria and Nasuke refer to as Hubby. Not much else is really explained about this race, and our interactions with this race is mostly comprised of robotic spy devices. It's unclear to me if these are suits, as we find out pretty late into the show that they're actually fish people, but that they are only partly searching for said key I've referred to basically force Maria into interplanetary marriage. It's just as weird as creepy as it sounds. How did it even lead to this point? Well, the whole core of the plot is around Maria and Nasuke to find the previously mentioned key, which is a very literal and it's seemingly actually massive key. They spend time digging, looking all over these blueprints, using alien technologies to do scans and analysis, but nothing comes up. Not till the very end, obviously. And this is when they use an old photo. This is then shown to them by this alien computer, which he has used a ton for analysis. And then they come to learn that a while back, the backyard used to be bigger, but it's not anymore. They find the painfully obvious key, put it into the keyhole, which, by the way, only activates due to Maria and Takami's kissing and the power of love, which opens the keyhole at the top of the house, which they then insert, and the house turns into a mech. Why does it sound like a lot of stuff just happens, especially around the main characters? Because it does. Stuff just happens. There's no rhyme or reason for it. So what about the secondary characters then? I'll just rip that band-aid off. One of the characters is a child who lives at Astro Lodge. During the early episodes, we see him admiring a young girl in her dress. It's shown that he has an interest in women's fashion and has circled a pink petticoat in the fashion magazine he was trying to hide. A few episodes on, it's shown him wearing said dress, and he's trying to find out who he is. This whole subplot is really much thrown into the background, and it's something that you could easily forget about. But it became very divisive and was why a lot of vocal reviews seem to dislike this show. I don't really understand, nor do I care. He's annoying, but that's not the reason he was annoying. He's just an annoying kid. And I'll say it once, and I'll say it again. Don't be weird if you don't like a character. Give a reason. Not because they wear dresses. If you're going to hate on a guy wearing a dress, hate on Black Butler for that same reason. I know you won't. The previously mentioned done dirty character does have more screen time. Not long after, it's made painfully clear to Takami that they worked together and they had a
I want real human moments. I want to see you. I want you to see me.
They end up going on a vague date together, but obviously Maria shows up at the event and now Aoi is pushed to the side. She has an actual friendship, weirdly enough, with Natsuke, but it's kept pretty secret until the very end, who she was actually speaking with. The other characters have similar depth. Toriko is the harsh reality of sadly not achieving her dreams of becoming a big idol. She only really found some small niche following as an underground idol, but after some soul searching, she still loves entertaining, singing, dancing, and while she might never hit it in the big leagues, she's still appreciative for those who do support her. The last character I'll cover is Shion, another alien from Maria's home planet that is helping her search for the key. He's been a childhood friend of hers, and it's sort of suggested that she is seeing him, but it's also just friendship. He's very much the pretty boy, perfect in every way, but obviously he, surprise to nobody, he's helping the hubbies in their plot to find the key because reasons? Astro Note is just a series of events. Two really bland at best to unredeemable at worst main characters, with a supporting cast that varies, but doesn't really get enough screen time to redeem the show. All support by a plot that is so nonsensical. The only redeeming factor is that it got some solid animation and good sound design, which can make it palatable enough to watch while you eat lunch or dinner. But there's also so much else you could watch. Like in my previously recommended video of overlooked anime in 2024, if you wanted a romance show, I'd highly recommend my final pick from that video, Pseudo Home. But with that said, have you watched Astro Note? Is there actually any other shows that you've recently watched that you're more amazed you actually finished than the show itself? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear about them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon.